Here's how Bernier put it in direct response to that news article. He said, Trudeau keeps pushing his diversity is our strength slogan. Yes, Canada is a huge and diverse country. This diversity is part of us and should be celebrated. But where do we draw the line? And then as you can see, he linked to that story. I'll read some more tweets since it was in the series. His next one, ethnic, religious, linguistic, sexual, and other minorities were unjustly repressed in the past. We've done a lot to redress those injustices and give everyone equal rights. Canada is today one of the countries where people have the most freedom to express their identity. All right, so far pretty unremarkable, don't you think? In fact, he's really just checking off all the boxes: ethnicity, religion, sexuality, whatever. Really, a liberal could say everything he's said so far. I'm going to keep going. Look at this. He says, but why should we promote ever more diversity? If anything and everything is Canadian, does being Canadian mean something? Shouldn't we emphasize our cultural traditions, what we have built and have in common, what makes us different from other cultures and societies? Exactly. I mean, do you know what the United States official motto is? Not just a cliche spouted by Trudeau, but it was the official American motto adopted in 1782. It's in Latin. It's e pluribus unum. Have you ever heard that? It means out of many, one. As in, America took a diversity and they forged it into a unity. They didn't take a unity and split it up into a diversity. They united, they didn't divide and say, oh, we're dividing and this is awesome. They took a division and put it together and said, look what we've built together, that's awesome. E pluribus unum is the exact opposite of diversity is our strength, isn't it? And shouldn't Trudeau and the Liberal Party of all people know that we have some things that are non-negotiable at our core, an underlying identity that is Canadian? I mean, didn't his father, Pierre Trudeau, build his prime ministership on that? Does our flag mean nothing? Or to be more Trudeaupian, does our Constitution, our Charter of Rights mean nothing, if you must? Our history, I mean, even bilingualism, which Pierre Trudeau foisted on the whole country to appease Quebec, isn't that different from the cacophony of the Tower of Babel with a million languages spoken but no one talking to each other? Isn't that the point of Canada? That it's not just a hotel room or an airport terminal, that it's a place with some meaning, and not just anyone's meaning. We have a different meaning than Pakistan or North Korea or Cuba, and it's why people, in fact, flee those countries to come here. I'll read more from Bernier's tweets. He said, having people live among us who reject basic Western values such as freedom, equality, tolerance, and openness doesn't make us strong. People who refuse to integrate into our society and want to live apart in their ghetto don't make our society strong. Exactly. That's the heart of it there. If you're against the equality of men and women, if you are diverse in that way, you're not Canadian. If you believe in the supremacy of one religion, say in Islam, over infidels, or to make it easier for the leftists to see the point, if you believe that whites are racially superior to blacks, let's say, that's un-Canadian. How is this at all controversial? This is liberal, isn't it? He's talking about including everyone, getting away from the balkanization of ghettos. How on earth is that bad? It's what the progressive integrationists of the 1960s fought for in the States. Blacks and whites living together peacefully. How is that out of vogue in 2018? And don't you think that most immigrants reading his comments would say, right on, brother, to Maxime Bernier? Let me read his fifth tweet. He said, Trudeau's extreme multiculturalism and cult of diversity will divide us into little tribes that have less and less in common. Apart from their dependence on government in Ottawa, these tribes become political clienteles to be bought with taxpayers' dollars and special privileges. Again, he's so right. And this is actually one of the multiculturalism strategies that was deployed by Stephen Harper and Jason Kenney. Don't just pay off ethnic power brokers and bosses. Try to find some underlying values of commonality and talk to them about that. Bernier is simply restating the Harper way. He's criticizing the affirmative action payoffs by the Liberal establishment. Again, I say right on, and I bet most minorities and immigrants would agree. Last tweet. Cultural balkanization brings distrust, social conflict, and potentially violence. As we are seeing everywhere, it's time we reverse this trend before the situation gets worse. More diversity will not be our strength. It will destroy what has made us such a great country. So what's he talking about? His tweets are sort of a Rorschach test. You know those ink blots you look at? That you can project your own ideas onto them? You're not actually describing the ink blot, you're describing what's in your own mind. But even as a philosophy in the abstract, I think His tweets are irrefutable, and it's patriotic, and it's inclusive. And if you want to know what he really means by this dog whistle politics, it's not hard to guess. I mean, open the newspapers on any given day. Open borders, fake refugees, Muslim terrorist attacks, the burqa and niqab becoming ubiquitous, anti-historical extremism, tearing down statues, rewriting our anthem, revising even whose pictures are on our money. It's obvious. Again, what's the objection here? Well, the objection is that you can't say this because you can't say anything that deviates from the establishment line. You can and you must have every sort of diversity imaginable, except for diversity of opinion. That's an excerpt from my daily TV show, The Ezra Levant Show. Normally it's behind a paywall, but I thought you'd like this video, so we put it on YouTube. If you want to subscribe to watch the daily show every day, including always 2 interviews a day, and I read my hate mail, just click on this screen and become a premium member.